What do you drive if you were the son of the car dealership mogul responsible for Subaru's fanatical popularity in New England? Naturally, you wouldn't stoop so low as to drive yourself. No, instead you'd have Subaru build you a Tribeca stretch limousine, right there on the same production line as the ones for the peons. And then, 3 years later, you'd get a second one. That second Tribeca limo is for sale in Pennsylvania right now. Ernie Bach was one of the most successful and powerful car dealers in New England. Car Talk tells the story of how after Malcolm Bricklin brought Subarus to America for the first time with the little Subaru 360, Bach bought the entire Subaru of New England dealer network in January 1971. When all-wheel drive was introduced, Bach knew he had a hit on his hands since the cars were perfectly suited for New England's famously erratic weather conditions. Subaru of New England grew from its original 15 dealers to 64 today. Bach passed away in 2003, leaving his billion-dollar fortune and car dealers of numerous brands to his son, Ernie Bach Jr., who remains Subaru of New England's CEO today. The Junior Bach enjoys his lavish lifestyle, and in the mid-2000s commissioned a Forester XT to be converted into a stretched limousine for himself, to the amusement of New England Nasioc Forum members. As if the limo itself wasn't proof enough, his vanity plate SNE for Subaru of New England shouted to the world exactly whose limo this was. In 2007, he switched to a then-new Tribeca, which was stretched right on Subaru's production line, but sent to an independent coach builder for completion. It too wore the distinctive SNE license plate. Unfortunately, the Tribeca was one of Subaru's rare failures, mainly due to its unusual styling that looked not like a Subaru, but an Alfa Romeo with the grille turned upside down, which, in fact, is exactly what it was. The Tribeca's face was restyled a few years later, but not soon enough to recover from its poor reception. Bach Jr. had yet another Tribeca limousine built for himself, this time from a Focke-lifted 2010 model. The limo available in Pennsylvania is that very car. Information on the website about this car is sparse. There are no interior pictures, and aside from the aftermarket gold wheels, perhaps a tribute to Subaru's rally heritage, it's not clear exactly how the car has been modified beyond the obvious stretch. Naturally, it's equipped with Subaru's 3.6-liter flat-six engine, necessary to haul its extra bulk around. It has a mere 42,384 miles and can be yours for the low price of just $39,995. Who needs a loaded STI? That's what all Subaru fanboys drive. Why not ride in style with this stretched Tribeca instead? As Ernie Bach used to say, come on down.
After about a year of concepts and spy photos, we finally know when we'll see the Subaru Ascent, the company's upcoming three-row crossover. Subaru announced on Twitter that the Ascent will make its debut on November 28 at this year's LA Auto Show. The announcement came with a teaser image, shown above, revealing the badge, rear taillight, and part of the bumper. We can tell that the Ascent will have a pretty upright hatch, and the rear bumper looks suitably tough with a brushed aluminum sill and black plastic cladding. But really, we know quite a bit about what the crossover will look like, since we've seen two concepts, the Visiv 7 and Ascent concept. Each was a progressively more conservative imagining of what the production model would be like. The basics involved a generally boxy shape with chiseled, exaggerated fenders, much like every other production Subaru. The Ascent concept also previewed a possible powertrain for the vehicle, a turbocharged 2.4-liter flat-four. We've also had a good look at the production version in some recent spy shots showing a nearly production-ready Ascent wrapped in just vinyl camouflage. Some of the more extreme lines have been further toned down compared with the concepts. But the theme of it being a bigger, boxier Subaru stuck around. In fact, it looks very much like a puffed-up Outback, with which the Ascent will share a factory in Lafayette, Indiana.
It feels like Subaru revealed the Ascent concept just yesterday, but the production version is already preparing for its debut at the 2017 LA Auto Show later this month. Subaru posted a teaser image to Twitter announcing the three-row crossover's November 28 debut and showing off part of the vehicle's taillight and bumper. The Subaru Ascent concept was first shown at the New York Auto Show in April. The concept was a further refinement of the VIZI V7 concept that debuted at last year's LA show, coming in at a more realistic 198.8 inches in length. The concept took design cues from the rest of the Subaru lineup but blended them into a vehicle that looks way more rugged than the previous Tribeca three-row ever did. Subaru says the Ascent will be powered by a new turbocharged, direct-injected 2.4-liter flat-4, but other technical details are slim at the moment. Production of the Ascent will begin in 2018 at Subaru's plant in Lafayette, Indiana, and Subaru plans to sell the crossover exclusively in North America. The Ascent will go on sale sometime in 2018 as a 2019 model year. Stay tuned for more details as we approach the 2019 Subaru Ascent's debut at the LA Auto Show.
It has been 3 years since Subaru discontinued the Tribeca. When it was first introduced more than 10 years ago as the B9 Tribeca, it was the Japanese auto manufacturer's first mid-size SUV. By comparison, Subaru has been selling the Forester, its smaller SUV, for the last 20 years. Built on the Legacy's platform, the Tribeca, like all Subaru models at the time, was powered by a boxer engine and equipped with all-wheel drive. Unlike the rest of the lineup, however, it simply did not sell. In the United States, the car maker managed to move less than 80,000 total units from dealership lots. In its final year, less than 1,000 Tribecas were sold. After scrapping the Tribeca, Subaru is now ready for redemption. Initially previewed at the New York International Auto Show in concept form, the production Ascent will finally be revealed at the end of this month. Made exclusively for the North American market, the Ascent will fill the hole in Subaru's current offerings. Demand for crossovers has increased in recent years, forcing companies to scramble to meet consumers' needs. Details are scarce, but the Ascent will be powered by an all-new turbocharged direct-injection boxer engine. The engine is rumored to be a 2.4-liter four-cylinder producing 300 horsepower. With the addition of the third row, the Ascent will be able to seat up to 7 passengers. For the Ascent's sake, let's hope Subaru can fill all of those seats when the car goes on sale next year.
As the 2018 Nissan Leaf enters the production, Leaf owners discuss whether purchasing is a better idea versus leasing. Many Nissan Leaf owners are somewhat disappointed that the 2018 Leaf doesn't have at least 200 miles of range per charge. Those who have leased a Nissan Leaf say they have been hanging on to their leases in promise of that range. We want to own and be done with payments. We have been loyal enough, writes Jesse Lindsay in Leaf Owners Public Group on Facebook. Here is what determines the residual value of Nissan Leaf. One group member responds to what's better in terms of buying versus leasing an EV and favors the leasing. Here is why. At this point in the evolution of EVs, purchasing one is a bad idea. Leasing is the best way to use an EV at least until 2022, simply because the technology continues to improve and the costs continue to drop. I have had 2 Leafs since 2011, both were leased, and my total out-of-pocket costs have been less than $5k, plus I get to drive the latest iteration of the car. EVs today are at the same point that PCs were in the 1990s, they continue to get better and cheaper, so why get stuck with car when you can get a fresh one that is better and cheaper with your total cost of ownership being the same? If you really think you need more range, then yes, wait a few months, chances are that you are doing just fine with what you currently have, writes Gary Lieber in the group. And to your point about a 2018 Leaf that no one wants? You will be surprised when Nissan announces that they have almost all of their 2018 capacity already pre-sold, Lieber adds. I am not sure about leasing as I have never leased a car. I remember one of our college professors warned against leasing as you always keep paying and never owning. Also you keep paying for interest. So, I always like to buy only things I can afford and purchase.